All right, people, we are back for the semifinals of the fourth season of the Battle Hub Draft League. I'm not alone, though. I am joined once again by my fellow commissioner, Rand. And how's it going, friend?
It's all good, all good. Just happy to be here.
Okay, and we also have a special guest, a fellow playoffs contestant. Announce yourself, my friend. I was going to say, how do I introduce this man?
What's good, everybody? It's Pokemaster 88. You can call me Chris. But yeah, I'm also happy to be here. We got
Yes,
some
sir.
great games this week.
Thank you for joining on such a last minute. I've just been so bogged down with school. These kids are gonna make me go crazy, bro. Thank you for coming on. I wanted to get your insights on this.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me. It's been a very, very long season. A lot of tough battles all the way up to this point. But, we got a good match with Raymon and Captain B-Nard. Captain B-Nard, Raymond is actually somebody I just played like a week ago in the quarters. A very, very threatening team with the Latios, the Ogerpon. Terrapagos gets a ton of coverage.
We'll get into that in just a sec. We'll just real quick before I'm sorry to cut you off. We will get right back into that, but just real quick, we'll just go back over the playoffs bracket here, where we have. Indeed, like Pokemaster said, we've got Raymond versus B-Nard, rematch from season, all the way back to season one, semis, as well as Scorpion versus Abomination, which is going to be a rematch just from several weeks ago. So just any other insights, thoughts you guys have on these, like just the matchups themselves and just terms of the people?
The fact that these are both not matchups, rematches, and rematches to some extent is crazy. Because I want to say the same thing happened like last playoffs, but I could be wrong about that.
I think there was a lot of rematches, yeah. What are you thinking, Pokemaster?
I honestly think, like Brandon said, there's probably a lot of rematches here. I know Scorp and Al just played like a couple weeks ago. B-Nard and Ray, I want to say they've done this dance before.
Season 1.
And so it's been since season 1 since they last played. That's crazy.
And it was, and like Emerald said, it
Well,
was
have
in
they
the
not? Well, I know
semis.
this is they're rematching off in the semis like they were, but have they not played a single time since then?
I don't.
It'd be crazy if
think
they haven't.
I don't think they have actually.
Yeah, I'm struggling to recall that myself, honestly. But that'll be wild. So this will be a good game to have then.
Yeah, it's a very good game. Very contrasting styles going head to head.
Absolutely.
They're
And
both
with
playing
that,
very.
we'll lead that right back into what you were saying, Pokemaster, about this matchup. You have the floor, my friend.
Well, yeah, I just played Ray a week ago, and the first thing I noticed was like Terrapagos, and like it has a ton of coverage for like, Scizor, a non-Terra Gudra, Rotom, like Flamethrower, Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball. It can hit all those things for pretty good damage, even Grimmsnarl, right? But I think other than that, I thought the matchup on paper was pretty even. I think B-Nard has a pretty good thing with Grimmsnarl. Like the screens are looking pretty good because Ray doesn't have defoggers. He might get a couple of brick breakers, right? Maybe like Ogerpon and Blaziken. That could be a thing. But I think overall, I didn't give the edge to any particular person. I thought the matchup was pretty even.
Interesting. Brandon, you got any other thoughts on this matchup?
Like Pokemaster, I also thought that this matchup was pretty even on paper. I do think that what it's going to just come down to is like who breaks whose walls first. And then everything from there, it just starts tumbling down. Because I feel like the Sneasler can look really good in a Rays team after the things like the Wheezing or the Tinkaton goes down. And even a Chip Tornadus doesn't really want to mess with Sneasler either. But at the same time, I feel like Ray, not Ray, actually, Ray. Ray can also, after he can break some of Captain B-Nard's walls, it just makes it the time, easier for him. I don't really know who I want to give an edge to yet because they're both teams are like pretty balanced. Like to me, they look like they're kind of constructed in the same ways, except Ray's team seems slightly faster, so maybe he can take advantage of that. But yeah, I thought both these teams were kind of like even on paper.
I will say, having just battled B-Nard myself, he does have a lot of very good leads, like Rotom Wash, the universal lead, the Sneasler. He caught me off guard with the Mudsdale, and even that can be a very good lead. He's led Goodra in the past. That can sometimes be good. I feel like it's all about that momentum at first. You can never get that early momentum and carry it and keep it going. And I feel like both of these coaches are usually pretty good at that. So this is going to be a really good match to see who comes out on top. While it is interesting that the Tornadus outspeeds the Sneasler at one point. Of course, the Sneasler can be unburdened if you want it to be. But that's just interesting to note. If they aren't unburdened, they're usually going to be Scarf. So they outspeed them. So then that makes you wonder, well, is Raymon going to make it Scarf? A lot of mind games here that I can see. The Azelf outspeeds the 110s, but the 110s then outspeed everything else on the team. The Tinkaton outspeeds the Arcanine. The Rotom outspeeds the Terapagos by 1 point, which is crazy. So it's all I think there's gonna be a lot of speed creeping this game and trying to see, in terms of bulk versus speed, what they're gonna do is gonna be interesting. It's crazy out there. The Goodra, the Mamo, the Drifblim, the Blaziken all are 80 base speed. And the Lantern just barely edges out this Sizzler, man. So a lot of even Stevens across the board. But like you guys said, this Goodra Mudsdale Rotom core is very difficult to break. And the Sizzler, you can throw that in there too. Of course, Raymond, they've got the Tinkaton, Wheezing, Lantern, Tornadus core with a little bit of regen thrown in there. The Terapagos, I will say, the one weakness, and of course Raymond, they really love the Terapagos as a spinner. I think it's a very good Pokemon, not in terms of being a spinner, but in terms of being a good Pokemon that has rapid spin. You know what I mean? I feel like it has all this other stuff it would rather do. It would rather throw out these energy balls and flamethrowers and everything else on the team. I feel like this Terapagos would just rather do other things. Does Earth Power hit anything? Not particularly. Except for maybe the Sneasler. But if you can get off it's interesting to note that, this Wheezing in particular does not want to necessarily be... It would prefer to be Levitate, if it could. To wall the Mudsdale. But if that does happen, then, B-Nard can get up those infamous T-Spikes. Now, whether or not he'll do that, I don't know. That's just one thing I could see. The hazards, could play a big role. Now, of course, Raymond could also go the other way. Because B-Nard's only form of hazard removal is Defog anyway. So, that's just one interesting kind of relationship that I see between these two teams. They both love their levitators, and that's interesting. How these teams are very similar in that way, don't you? It's interesting to see that relationship. Do you guys see that too? They're almost like kind of counterparts, but just coming at it from a different way. I don't know whether or not. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I just feel like you said before, it's like whoever can get the momentum and keep it Ray has a lot of switch-ins to Sneasler with Weezing and Tink. So I think U-turn is just one of those moves it has to kind of carry this week to kind of get the momentum and get those matchups.
Yeah. And I mean, B-Nard, he's got a lot of pivot options. Like that's one thing that I struggled with my team was I didn't really have a whole lot of that. He's got the Volt Switch, he's got the U-turn on the Sneasler and the Scizor. He's got the Parting Shot. So he's got a lot of good stuff. He could even go for like a Healing Wish on the Indeedee and then pivot that out and then get something else that's safer. Even U-turn on Azelf, I believe. So
And
a lot of
even
good
and
stuff.
even and even the Drifblim gets baton pass if he needs to switch it out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Whatever reason.
There's no dark
Absolutely, yeah.
type. There's no dark type on Raymond's team, so Grimmsnarl's free to Parting Shot and do whatever that they want to his team pretty much, unless they Terra. Although I don't think that anything can Terra Dark, right? Or
No.
can it?
No. And I also noticed Ray doesn't have a spin blocker, like a good ghost type to kind of keep the. I mean, Lantern can Terra Ghost.
Well,
Lantern can
yeah,
Terra
well,
Ghost.
thankfully for him, at least B-Nard, his only way of getting hazards is defog anyway, so.
Which is true. Yes.
But it kind of stinks that Ogerpon is the only one who could take advantage of being defogged, but I don't think it gets.
That at least they have it. I mean, you know what I mean? At least they
Yeah.
could. But yeah, I know what you mean because it's a risky play. I know that I didn't really particularly want to switch into Scizor's defog myself, even though I could have, with Annihilate my game. If you try to bring in that Ogerpon, you might find yourself getting U-turn, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you might not want to risk it, but a lot of interesting things. I think this is going to be a really great game to watch and hear. Well, we probably won't hear Raymond's commentary, but I think B-Nard's commentary will be very insightful, honestly.
You're right, and both coaches this whole season's been playing well, prepping well. B-Nard knows that team inside and out. It's very similar to what he had last season, so he's really playing it just as good as last season, or even better actually, because
I think honestly, B-Nard's been playing at probably the best level he's been. I mean, he only dropped one game at the end of the season. I mean, obviously, first game, there was technical issues, but apart from that, he played very solidly otherwise. And of course,
yes,
Raymond off the top of the standing. So this is really like the best coaches going at it. So it's going to be great.
which is no surprise. Raymond season after season is near the top, playing well with the variety of teams that he has. So I don't know how he does it, but dude, shout outs to Ray, shout outs to B-Nard for making it to
Absolutely.
semis.
Well, that's some really good consistency right there.
Yeah. So if you had to put money down, who would you say has it?
I mean, B-Nard says this so many times that I might as well use his line against him. The smart money says to always bet on Ray, so I believe I should bet on Ray. B-Nard, you said it, not me. But I'm repeating it. So yeah, let's go with Ray.
What you think, Pokemaster?
Me, see, I like a true underdog story. Yes, you can just say Ray, and you probably wouldn't be wrong. But I like a nice underdog story. I want to see if B-Nard can do it. Take down these doubters, and I think I'm gonna put my money on the underdog. We're gonna go B-Nard for the semis.
Okay, there you go. Go Lofi, a Pidgey fan. I see you. Yeah, honestly, this is really tough. I mean, I really respect and admire both of these coaches. I'd really like to see both of them do very well. In terms of just the raw matchup, I feel like it's too close to tell. I feel like, I mean, like you said, the smart money's always on Raymond, but I think that B-Nard's been playing at the best level he has in the history of the league with his best team yet. So I could easily see him come one up from behind. But I know on Ray, I think the smart money is probably on Ray. I mean, I just know that he's going to have some crazy techs. and
You
that
really,
they might come through to save him at the end. But I think that B-Nard will definitely make it very close. It'll probably be like a 1-0 game either way, 1-0, 2-0. I don't see it being any more um, drastic than that.
yeah, it's gonna be very, very, very close. Ray, I would say, is definitely the favorite in this match for sure. But I like an underdog.
I feel that. Hey, if B-Nard wins, I'll be happy. If Raymon wins, I'll be happy for him too.
I'll be happy. Congrats to them both for even making it to semis. But this is gonna be
Absolutely.
one.
This is gonna be a slugfest right here. This is gonna be one to watch.
Absolutely. But yeah,
With that, let's have Brandon lead us into Abomination versus Scorpion. Take it away, my friend.
All right, so we got about good old Abomination, coach of the At the Basket Miltanks, taking on Scorpion and his Leaf Agents. This is actually just a rematch of from this season. So Abomination side, we have the Great Tusk, the Clefable, the Dragonite, the Heatran, the Terra Jolteon, Suicune, the Terra Vileplume, the Chinchino, the Terra Electrike. Yeah, Electrike. There we go. Then we have Reuniclus. Coolest mon ever. Then, on Scorpion side, we have the Palafin, who has made it into the semis for the first time ever, we must say. The Zapdos, the Tinglu, the Cyclozar, the Ogerpon Cornerstone, the Terra Delphox, the Mimikyu, the Reverum, the Terra Primate, and last but not least, we have the Klefki. So when you look at these two teams, Scorpion's team definitely has the speed advantage by a long shot, but at the same time, I feel like Abomination's team it makes up for it by being bulk. Like, at least to me, it looks like it's bulkier than Scorpion's team. Because of Mon's, like, so Scorpion, if I'm not mistaken, his kill leader is the Palafin right now, but Abomination has Mons like the Dragonite, the Suicune, the Vileplume, Mon, a Violite, Electrike, Mons that also the Jolteon who can Terra Grass, if I'm not mistaken, Terra Grass. So, he has Abomination has ways to deal with Palafin, who's been putting in a lot of work for Scorpion this season. But overall, though, I do think this is going to be a very tightly contested game because both coaches all season long have been prepping really well, have been playing really well. And if I'm not mistaken, when they played previously, I can't remember what the circumstances was, but I feel like there was something that happened in the game that, whether it was a misplay or a hack, I can't remember what it was, but I think
I
there
was
was
thinking the
something.
same thing. I should have went back and watched the game right before this, but I fell asleep. I remember there was something too that happened, and I think it's still like a 1-0 win for Scorpion, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, it
yes,
was a 1-0 win.
But
It was
something happened. I
something.
think something happened now, but I can't honestly for the life of me remember.
I can't remember exactly what happened, but I remember Al was like saying how the para had screwed him over because I remember there was a turn where Al had the Trick Room up and the Great Tusk was paralyzed. It was in front of Palafin, and I can't remember exactly what happened in those moments where Scorpion was able to get out of that Trick Room and kill Tusk, because Tusk looked like it was gonna win, but
Yeah,
I just.
something.
And then there were some cool things that happened the last game with the Clefable, with the Cut Stab, Healing Wish. That was that was kind of spicy.
Yeah,
And
Al's
this was
known
only
for his
like,
spicy sets, man. He that's some great stuff.
a few weeks ago. So it's like they have to just change their whole mindset in like a relatively short span of time. So I can imagine they have headaches prepping for this game right now.
And after playing Scorp twice last season, you know how he smoked me with that Typhlosion, and then brought a completely different team when we played in quarters. So I know Scorp is going to be able to adjust pretty fine. Al, this is Al's first season in Battle Hub. He's been playing very well, but I would like to see how he's going to adjust after playing Scorp literally a week ago. And it's kind of tough for like, I'm not sure, is it tough for the challenger, right? Is it tough for you to lose a game and then come back and like make adjustments and win? Or is it tougher for the person who just won to make the adjustments and try and win again?
It's a great question. I mean, from experience, I know in season one at least, all of my playoff matches were the exact opposite of what happened in the regular season. Like I lost to you and Scorpion Pokemaster, but then I ended up winning because I was bound determined to win. But then I won against Raymon and I took that one easy and then I lost. So there's a little bit of a mental game for sure.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I think it's actually harder on the person who won than it is on the person who lost. Because the person who lost is like, okay, you lost. You know why you lost. It's easier to adjust. But if you're the person who won, it's like, all right, I know how I won, but this person, you know, they use their common sense. They have a way to stop this next time. So how can I win, but in a different way? Because usually I feel like your first win con, like in your first matchup, is typically going to be your best win con because you're not expecting to play them again.
Right.
So now you got to come up with another win con. And what if you don't even have another one?
And this is a big thing, whether or not these two showed all their cards during their last game.
Exactly.
Right. It's going to come down to like whose team is more flexible, maybe can perform in a different role than last time, you know.
Yeah.
But
From my point of view, I'm looking at like that is the thing about Al's team. Very bulky, but then you look at the speed tiers and it just drops off after Chinchino. And at that point, Belfox, Palafin, Zapdos, Mimikyu, everything all the way down to Reverum outspeeds their next fastest Pokemon, being Great Tusk, you know what I mean? So they've got the speed. But of course, they do have that option of that Trick Room. Of course, the thing with that is Scorpion has a lot of walls and a lot of pivots that they can use to outlast those Trick Room turns. And especially in singles, Trick Room can be pretty hard to pull off because the first turn you waste when you use it, and then you have to try to either get something in to actually be able to use it. The Reuniclus has to try to switch out or something like that. So now you only got 3 turns, and that can easily be uh, used up with a couple of pivots into Tinglu or Zapdos. So I think this is another game where it's going to be about who breaks down each other's walls. You know what I mean? Who is Scorpion able to get rid of that Dragonite and that Suicune to
because
go for a Palafin endgame?
I noticed that a lot of Scorpion's mons don't like to be burned, and like I think Lava Plume is pretty good into Scorp's team. Like just switching into Lava Plume could be kind of tough. I think Flip Turn is really amazing into Al's team. It's just, yeah, you got to respect the effect spore and things like that. Probably why he ran special last time.
It is interesting that Al did just fight an Ogerpon, so coming into this game, he's probably pretty prepared for it. Although Ogerpon does look pretty. I mean, it might not have the water type stab to get the hit on the without worrying about contact on the Heatran, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Flash Fire anyways. I mean, Horn Leech or Power Up will still hit that Great Tusk just as hard. It's going to hit the Suicune. And now they actually have a super effective stab for the Dragonite. You know, so rather than having to worry about play rough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I learned the hard way that Ogerpon gets Stomping Tantrum, which is, I don't know why you get
Absolutely.
that.
Yes, sir. Now he might still be flame body. This is Al we're talking about over here. So don't. He could it could still happen, but then of course that opens up the way for the Delphox a little bit.
Yeah, and see, it's another thing. I've never to this day, I've never been able to understand how Stomping Tantrum visually, you don't look like you're making contact yourself, but apparently it's a contact move. That'll never make sense to me.
I think they're stomping. I think it's like they're stomping on their feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, this is a game we're talking about where Wooper has Ice Punch. Okay, you gotta really, you gotta stretch the limits of your imagination. You know what I mean?
Speaking of,
I agree though. I know what you mean.
Oh, it's crazier because I know Raymon has a Lantern, and Lantern somehow, despite having fins, gets Sucker
Punch. Yep.
And I was just about to say that because
I don't know why it gets Sucker Punch, but it does, and he's used it to a great effect.
I'm like, how are you Sucker Punching? You literally have fins. It's like,
I don't know. Hey, he can still throw a punch, I guess. It is interesting too. I feel like Scorpion has some of the best hazard Pokemon on his side versus one of the best rapid spinners. So I don't know. And of course, that's the thing too. If Great Tusk if you give it a reason, the rapid spin is not good because I mean it's gonna power it up. Of course. Let me see. Owl does not have any rapid spinners. Spin blockers, and Scorp has one of the best ones in Cyclizar, as well as a spin blocker in Mimikyu. So that could easily deal with the Great
right.
Tusk. Of course, Great Tusk could also probably tank a hit from the Mimikyu and take it out. So there's a lot of different ways I could see it going. It's going to be, I think, all about again who has that momentum. And it is worth noting that Scorp will at least have to spend a little bit of his momentum in order to try to set the Palafin if that's what he's going for. But yeah.
Like Scorpion, he's literally giving like final boss. I remember prepping for him is very, very nerve wracking. I remember one time I was up all night, right, and still got like murdered.
Yeah.
And then
I know, I had a whole game plan and it just went out the window.
But I gotta give it to Al too, because I remember last week when they played, Al made a really good read. Like it was Tusk in front of Ting Lu. He goes for a head smash and just drops the Zapdos.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, we would be remiss if we did not remember the fact that Al is the only person to get a win off on Raymon this entire season. That was his only loss.
And that is no easy feat.
No easy feat, absolutely. So definitely don't underestimate him. It does make you wonder though.
It outsped Tusk. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, did you have any other thoughts, Brandon?
Nah, I just really think everything I think has already, for the most part, been said. Like, I think it's going to be like a really close matchup. I am not even sure who I want to give an edge to yet, because, like I said, I feel like it's easier for the person who lost last time going into the rematch than it is for the person who won.
And who would you say the pressure's on more, Al or Scorp?
I feel like the pressure's more so on
Define the pressure. You mean like the pressure to win, or the pressure to like perform, or like?
I would say Probably perform, right? Because at this
Okay.
point in the season, as long as both these coaches play well, whoever comes out and wins just wins, right?
Yeah.
But I just think this game is going to be a lot tougher than it was the first time for both these guys.
Absolutely. I feel like they've both really proven themselves. I feel like they can both perform very well, but I feel like Scorpion, um, he probably wants to beat the para allegations. I know I've been trying to beat the freeze allegations against B-Nard ever since season one, and I haven't been able to. So I can understand that. At least that's how I would feel going into this game. I would be like, I want to get this win, and I don't want anybody to question it. And
That
meanwhile, Al
freeze
is going to
was an
think,
iconic freeze.
and Al is going to be thinking, I need to get this win because I need to prove myself that I can beat Scorpion. Um, so yeah, but now I will say I really want to see the commentary off of both of these coaches. I think that these two are probably going to have some of the most insightful plays in the
I
league.
think
Just the way that Al was talking, and of course I did have it on 2 times speed, but the dude sounded like he was going. I mean, the way his brain was thinking, like he was thinking so far ahead. And Scorpion, he does that too. So this is going to be a real chess match right here. I mean, two bulky offensive teams. I mean, this game could be 40 minutes.
It could be, yeah. And Abomination's got amazing commentary with all the effects.
Oh yeah, the effects.
I live for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's two of some of the best editors right here. I mean, it's a shame that we'll only get one more game of them.
And then, long as Abomination brings Shusanki, we should be fine.
Shushansky.
All right. So, if you had to put money on it, who would you guys say wins this thing?
Okay, honestly, Scorp has been so close. This is every single season. He's like so close. He's like right there. I feel like this man is overdue to finally just win, because every season he's like the favorite to win because he's Scorp. He's like a math scientist when he's like prepping and playing. He's really right up there with Ray. But I think this season actually might be his year, his season.
B. Absolutely, he's got the defensive mons to do it. Defense wins championships. All
And I
right, Brandon,
definitely,
what you think?
my money's on Scorp as well. Because, in my opinion, I just think he's, out of all 16 coaches we've had this season, if I had to rank everybody based on their prep, I would have him at, number one.
Oh.
So, yeah, and like you said, he's gonna want to beat those allegations, and I feel like beat those allegations he's gonna do.
Yeah, Scorp's a good friend of mine, so I'm always going to be a little bit biased towards him. I will say, even though my money's on Scorp, that he needs to be careful because you do not want to underestimate this man. Okay, you guys saw what happened before Biradu, man. This guy will have. He's got a plan. You might not see it immediately, but he's cooking. And if you let him continue his plan, it's going to be a disaster for you.
No, that's very true. Like Al, I noticed he be having a lot of fun in his games, but he's a very sharp thinker.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very calculated when he is playing.
He can see the end game, and he might have some unorthodox ways to try to get there. But if he can see the vision, then he can
Because
accomplish
sometimes
it.
with me, I kind of lose sight of the end game. I get a little ahead of myself, and I'll start making plays I shouldn't be making. Versus with Owl and Scorp and Ray, they are some of the best when it comes to execution.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Scorpson can see it too. So I think the fact that these two going head to head is going to be just a real battle of wills and just a battle of who can accomplish their mission better and stop the other person from doing theirs.
And whoever wins or loses, there's no shame. You know, both of y'all should be very, very proud. You guys made it all the way to semifinals.
And it's gonna be a heck of a game.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, I just realized I don't think I said anything about this Klefki. That Klefki, man, we could throw in some shenanigans over there. Yeah, with the prankster stuff, I just feel like prankster has been proven to be such like a what's it called? Just that X factor, you know what I mean? That you can throw off those priority status moves, priority hazards, priority screens. So
And that is actually
def
crazy with like Klefki, because Klefki gets a lot of like cool little niche moves like
yeah.
spite and recycle and
Switcheroo.
yeah. The thing is kind of it's kind of good, and Al has but no dark type over there, so
Well, it's another case of a prankster Pokemon facing no dark types. Yeah. Look at that.
would you look at that, right?
Yeah. Well, I think these are going to be some of the most crazy games yet. I mean, of course, we've already had this game, but I do wonder if they were secretly kind of holding back their cards because they knew they would be facing each other. I think this is where the gloves are going to come off, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, when Goku is preparing to battle, he got his weighted boots on and his weighted gloves on, Piccolo, same thing, and they're about to take him off right now. And we're going to see their true power.
It's gonna be a definite bloodbath, a must-see event.
Must see event. Get your popcorn, man. Once again.
This is the Battle Hub semifinal.
Yeah, I think this probably is one of the most stacked semis we've had in history.
And then, but it's crazy how fast this season went by.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I think we've all got differing opinions because I know Pokemaster was a long season. Maybe it's just because the job I've been working, but this just kind of flew by for me. It's been
I
crazy.
felt like in the beginning it was like going by like pretty quick, right? And then I think around 6 or 7, I started feeling like the wear and tear of a season. Like I was like, "Oh, dude, this is very draining."
Yeah,
But
I gotta
the
build
show
for
must
another
go on.
week. Yep.
The show must go on.
But at least you were able to keep the BHDL tradition of Pinchurch and making it to the playoffs intact. Both of y'all did it. Both of y'all done
That's
it.
true.
And that
Well,
was a lot of
yes.
weight on my shoulders just lifted because I didn't want to be the guy to ruin Pinkirch's perfect streak and not having him in the playoffs.
How many times did you use Pinkirchen?
I think I only brought him twice.
Okay, well, at least you brought him. I appreciate you for that. You know, not many
Yeah.
other leagues where you could do that.
And I honestly think if it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't have even had him on the team because he did round it out a lot better that I had him. So even though I wasn't planning on Pinkirchen, I am very happy that I had him. Very happy.
So I'm sure B-Nard will be very happy to hear you say that. All right, so with that, guys, we're gonna finish this off. Thanks again to Brandon and Pokemaster for being here, giving me your insights. Very, very good to hear. And I can't wait to see these games.
Man, I can't wait either. This is
I
very
can wait.
playoff.
And at least this time, I don't have to play, so I could just sit back and watch. You know what I mean? I don't have. There's no stress anymore.
And that's one of the best things about being eliminated. Yes, you want to win, but now we get to sit back and be a spectator and be a fan and watch these fire ass matches.
Absolutely. All right. I think that's it. We'll see you guys in the finals. Peace out.
Peace out, guys.
Ciao, y'all.